Hello students, hope you are ready for the exam. Now let us see how to score at least 40 marks or 60 marks or 80 marks or 100 marks, which is not difficult in maths. Okay, so you know weightage of the chapters. First, in paper 1, logic weightage is what? 8 marks. This chapter is very easy, so you can score all 8 marks here. Second chapter is matrices. Again, this is easy chapter. You can score here 6 marks. Next is trigonometric functions for 10 marks, pair of lines for 6 marks, vector for 12 marks, line and plane together for 10 marks, LPP is for 4 marks. Then in paper 2, differentiation 9 marks, application of derivative 9 marks, indefinite integration 10 marks, definite integration 6 marks, application of definite integration 4 marks. That means together integration is for 20 marks here. Differential equation is for 8 marks. Probability distribution 5 marks and binomial distribution 5 marks. But how to study for the exam? First focus on the chapters which are easy. So first let us see how to score at least 40 marks in the exam. Now in practical, let us assume that you have scored 20 marks or around that. Now with this 20 marks in logic we can score 8 marks, which is very easy. In some hours you can complete the logic. Then matrix is for 6 marks. Again in matrix there are some topics only, like find the inverse of matrix, solve the equations by reduction method or inversion method, like so. Here next is LPP. In LPP again there are some topics are there, like maximize the function or minimize the function or formulate the LPP. So this you can study in 1-2 hour also. So this is for 4 marks, which is enough for that chapter. Then last 2 chapters of paper 2. So from paper 2 these are easy chapters. Okay, so you can focus on this. 5 marks. Okay, 10 marks are there. So together you can score at least 48 marks with this only. Only logic, matrices, LPP 3 from paper 1 and 2 from paper 2. So with practical marks we can score around 48 marks easily. So there is no tension of passing. Okay, with this theorems, you can say theory questions, generally comes for around 12 marks. Okay, from paper 1 2 theorems, from paper 2 2 theorems. In paper 2 usually theorems come from differentiation 1 theorem and definite and indefinite integration any one. So 2 theorems from paper 2, and from paper 1 trigonometric function there are theorems, pair of lines there are some theorems only. Okay, in which tan theta theorem is there. Tan theta is equal to mod of 2 under root h square minus ab upon a plus b, right? Then in vectors there are many theorems. Okay, so if possible you can read all that theorems, so you can score 12 marks here of theory. So together you can score 60 marks with these some topics only. Okay, now with this 60 marks, suppose from trigonometric function you can score say around 5 marks. Pair of lines, which is again easy chapter, you can score at least 3 marks. From vector you can score at least 6 marks, minimum 6 marks. Line and plane depends on you. Okay, then differentiation, again there are some easy exercises are there which you can read now also. Or application of derivative, in that there are questions like find the approximate value. Okay, there is one exercise for that. Or LMVT Rolle's theorem, or find the maximum minima, velocity, acceleration. These are easy topics, so you can score at least 4-5 marks easily from this application of derivative also. Now integration depends on you, because which is not easy. Okay, so if you have studied properly throughout the year you can score all these 20 marks. Okay, but as the weightage is 20 marks, so just don't focus on that for those especially who are not studied properly. Okay, then differential equation, again here like question is find the degree and order of the equation, or solve the equations of that a and b arbitrary constants. So some topics are easy, you can score again here at least 4 marks. So with together this you can score more than 80 marks easily, more than 80 marks. And if you want 100 marks, then read all the chapters of paper 1 and paper 2 properly and attempt the questions, if possible all questions, or at least one or two extra questions. Now we know paper pattern, but let us see again properly. Now we know this paper pattern. There will be total 4 sections A, B, C, D. In section A, first question is of MCQ. There will be 8 MCQs, one for 2 marks. So 8 into 2, 16 marks. So all attempt all 8 MCQs. Okay. And in question 2, there will be 4 questions each for 1 mark. 4 into 1, 4 marks. So this is only one part in the paper where there is no option. But this is for only 4 marks where there is no option. Okay. Now in section B, you have to attempt any 8 out of 12. That means for 8 questions you are getting 4 extra questions. That means 50% extra. So there is no need of tension here. Okay. So attempt any 8 out of 12. One question for 2 marks. So 8 into 2, 16 marks. Again same in section C. But here there are questions for 3 marks. So attempt again any 8 out of 12. So again 50% option. And in section D, there will be question for 4 marks. You have to attempt any 5 out of 8. So for 5 marks, you are getting 3 extra questions. So that is more than 50%. Okay, so except these 4 marks, you are getting enough option. So if you are not prepared some topic, now don't take tension of that. Now just revise properly whatever you have studied in previous some days or previous some months. Okay, now let us see how to write the paper. Now in first question MCQ, you have to write answer like for first MCQ. Suppose answer is B, whose answer is say -3. Then write both the things. That means you have to write A, B, C, D, whatever answer is there, with the answer. Just don't write any one. Write both the things. Okay, that is compulsory. Now, in question 2, this is question 1. In question 2, suppose, for example, question is find the inverse of matrix. Now, how we can find the inverse of matrix? We can use adjoint method or we can use row or column. But here, don't use any one from this because this is question for 1 mark. Now in maths, important thing is first read the question carefully. Okay, otherwise you will waste the time and marks also. Here, this is the question. Here matrix is given which is diagonal matrix. And we want inverse of this matrix and this question is for only 1 mark. So in diagonal matrix, inverse is just write the reciprocals of these diagonal elements. Remaining all are 0. This is just I am giving example because if question is for 1 mark, then you have to think how to write the answer. Okay. Now here what is reason? We can write reason A into A inverse is equal to I. So when we multiply A with A inverse, we know how to multiply first row and first column. So 2 and 1 by 2, so answer is 1. Then second row, second column for second one and then for third. So you can check here. So for 1 marks, this is enough. Don't use like adjoint method or row or column. Okay, so first thing, important thing is read the question carefully. Now in logic, the important part is what? Truth table. So if question is verify whether the given statement is tautology, contradiction or contingency. Okay, suppose question is for 3 marks. Now if only P and Q 2 statements are given, you have to write of course 4 cases. Don't write 8 cases unnecessary. So suppose in last column we are getting all true. Then how to write the answer? Just don't write it is a tautology because 1 mark is there for answer and answer we have to write with reason. Why this is tautology? So here write from last column as all the truth values of given statements are true. Or you can change the sentence as the statement is always true. Therefore, it is a tautology. So reason is what? It is always true. All are true. And therefore, it is a tautology. So 1 mark is there for reason. Answer with reason. Same if question is prove that given two statements are equivalent. Like suppose here P implies Q equivalent to negation P or Q. We have to prove that these two statements are equivalent. Okay, so find out truth table of this, find out truth values of this statement and then these statements. We will get same answer. Okay, like TFTT. Same here TFTT. So again just don't write they are equivalent. You have to write again with reason. Here in table you can write for this column A and for this column B, or you can write 1 2 3 4 5. Then you can write from column A and B as the truth values of given two statements are identical, that is same, and therefore given two statements are equivalent. This is not equal, there are three lines equivalent. Okay, so 1 mark is there for answer with reason. Now if question is write the converse, inverse and contrapositive of given conditional statement. Suppose statement is if area increases then volume decreases. Okay, so we can write first P as area increases, Q as volume decreases. So in symbolic form statement we can write P implies Q. So this is conditional statement. Now we know converse is what? Q implies P. So just interchange this. Q implies P. Inverse is what? Negation of P implies negation of Q. And contrapositive is negation Q implies negation P. But just don't write answer in this way. You will not get marks for this. Because question is given in verbal form, in statement form. So write answer in same form. Just don't write in symbolic form. So with this, here write like converse is what? Q implies P. So interchange P and Q. So write if volume decreases, then area increases. So write here. Okay. So you will get mark for that. Then inverse is negation P implies negation Q. So there is no interchange. Just you have to write the negation. That means not and not here. So if area does not increases, then volume does not decreases. In contrapositive with negation interchange. That means negation Q implies negation P. So if volume does not decreases, then area does not increases. So you have to write in same form in which question is given. Okay, so just for this, here C is there in which we have to interchange, and in inverse no interchange. Okay, in converse just interchange P and Q. In inverse just write the negation of these two. Negation P implies negation Q, that means not and not here. And in contrapositive taking negation interchange. Okay, so this is for converse, inverse and contrapositive. Now if question is simplify the given circuit, or we are using the laws of that logic, complement law, distributive law, associative law. So when we are using that laws, you have to write in bracket, otherwise you will lose mark for that. Okay, you have to write that laws in bracket when you are using that. Okay, now in logic other topics are what? Like question will come like write whether the given sentences are statement or not, and if statement write its truth value. And then next is what? Negation or dual. Okay, and next topic is quantifier. So there are some topics in logic by which you can score 8 marks easily. Now let us see matrices. In matrices, important topic is find the inverse of matrix. So if question is just find the inverse of matrix, you can use any method like adjoint or elementary transformations, row or column. But if question is find the inverse by adjoint method, okay, if matrix is given, what is the first step? we have to find the determinant of matrix. In determinant, we use two straight lines, vertical lines. Don't write matrix. Matrix we cannot solve. And prove that determinant is not equal to 0. So A inverse exists. Okay. Then we have to find the minus and cofactors. If matrix is 3 by 3 suppose, then suppose first cofactor is A11. What is method? How we can write this? Minus 1 raised to this plus this, that is 1 plus 1. Then remove first row from the matrix and remove first column from the matrix. Write remaining 4 elements here and solve that. Okay, or you can write minus separately, cofactors separately if you want. So there will be 9 cofactors. Then we have to write the adjoint. Okay, so how we write the adjoint? Adjoint of A. First cofactor right here. Then either you can write position wise, like this is first row first column, then first row second column, first row third column, second row first column, second row second column, second row third column, then third row first column, third row second column, third row third column. But this is not the adjoint. Adjoint is what? Transpose of this. So interchange rows and columns. So here this adjoint, we can write first row write as first column. So A11, A12, A13, 11, 12, 13. Then 21, 22, 23, second column, 21, 22, 23. Now third row write as third column. So 31, 32, 33. Okay. Now after this adjoint, inverse is what? 1 upon determinant of A into adjoint of A. So write the determinant here and write the adjoint. Okay. So this is the inverse of matrix by adjoint method. Now second method is find the inverse by elementary transformations. Now there are two parts of this. Either we can use row or column. So if you are comfortable with row and question is use elementary only transformations, you can use any row or column. So you can use row first here. Now how to solve by row or column? Because if question is use elementary row transformation or column, then you have to use that given only, either row or column. Now in that, again first we have to find the determinant, prove that it is not equal to 0. So A inverse exists. Now in row transformations, we have to write A into A inverse is equal to I. This is for row. And if we want to use column, write first A inverse, then A is equal to I. Okay. Because when we multiply two matrices, we multiply as row and column. First row, first column. So if we are applying on this first matrix operations, then we have to apply row operations. And if we are applying on second, then we have to use column transformations. So for row transformations, use A into A inverse I equal to I. And for column, write A inverse into A is equal to I. Now in matrices, see the miscellaneous of chapters. There are 2A and 2B. There are two miscellaneous. There are some important questions in that. Like there is one matrix in which cos theta, sin theta is given. We have to find the inverse. Or there are some questions in which like A into X is equal to B is given. We have to find the X. So here we are going to apply operations on A. So here use row transformation. Or if X into A is given, then we are going to apply on second matrix operations, right? So here use column. So there are some questions like X into A is into Y is equal to some B. Okay, so see the order, how to use row and column. If on first matrix we are going to apply use row, and if on second matrix we are going to apply use column transformation. That is compulsory. Okay. Now in next topic of matrix, that is reduction method. if equations are given, say in x, y, z, okay, write first multiples of x, y, z in first row, 2, 1, 3, then 1, minus 1, 2, 3, 1, minus 1, here x, y, z, and this is 1, 2, 3. So what is reduction method? Either convert this matrix into upper triangular or lower triangular. Okay, so here we can convert these two element into 0 and then this into 0. So if element below diagonal are 0, that is what upper triangular matrix. Or you can convert these 3 into 0 also. Okay, so converting these 3 into 0, then multiply these two matrices. As here there are two zeros, you will get z. Here 1 0, so from z you will get y and then you will get x. You can verify the answer by putting the values of x, y, z in given equation. This is what reduction method. Next is what inversion method. Now in next inversion method, we write this as ax is equal to b. Now in matrix, as we know AB is not equal to BA. Now question is here, find out XYZ, that means this matrix X. So we have to remove this matrix A. So for that, pre-multiply from this side, left side, pre-multiply by A inverse. So A inverse into AX is equal to, don't write B into A inverse, okay? Write A inverse into B, that means multiply from this side. So right here pre-multiply by A inverse. Now A inverse into A is I into X is equal to this, I into X is X, so A inverse into B. So these steps are same in all sums of inversion method. So X matrix is what? XYZ. B matrix is this constants 1, 2, 3. Now remaining is find A inverse. So A inverse we can find by any method, either by adjoint or by row column. Then multiply these two and find out x, y, z. Okay. So here in matrix, as weightage is 6 marks, so there are some topics, so you can score easily 6 marks of matrices. Now in LPP, linear programming, mostly some will come in section D or possible in C. So this is for generally for 4 marks. Okay, so we have to maximize or minimize the function. Okay, so for question we know what is method. First draw the table, okay, find the points, then draw the graph. Suppose here this is the graph. If two lines are given and if x and y greater than or equal to 0 is given, that means answer feasible reason we want only in first quadrant, because x and y both are positive only in first quadrant. So remember that. So here suppose our feasible reason is this O A P B. Okay, then right here the shaded region O A P B O is feasible region as shown in figure with the vertices, like origin is 0 0, find out A is suppose 2 0, find out P, this is suppose 1 3, suppose B is 0 3, just for example. So write these vertices. 1 mark is there for this, 1 mark for graph. You have to draw the table, then you have to find value of z at these points, compare them. If question is maximize, write the maximum value, but again write the answer properly. Like suppose z is maximum at point P13, then write, so maximum value of z is, suppose here value of z is say 60, so maximum value of z is 60 at point. You can write x1 and y3 or write properly p13, just don't write p. So write the value and at which point. Now in case suppose z is 60 on a and p, which is the maximum value, that means z is maximum on segment AP. Now on AP there are infinite points, so we can say it has infinite solution. So how to write the answer? Value is same, so write maximum value of z is 60 and Z is maximum on segment AP from A to P. At all points it is maximum. So you can write that is Z as infinite solution. So 1 mark you will get for that answer. Okay, so you can score again 4 marks easily from the LPP. There are only some topics which you can read in 1-2 hours easily, right? So now from paper 2, in binomial distribution, what is method we know? We have to find the first x, what is x, then we have to find the p, probability of success, then we have to find the q, which is 1 minus p. Okay, after that we have to write x, this b, and n is suppose here 8. 8 means like coin is tossed 8 times, right? So experiment. So n is number of times. Okay. So write n 8 and suppose p is half. So you have to write these two things here. You can write b 8 comma 1 by 2 directly. So this step you have to write. Okay. And then we write p of x. Then we know how to solve. Okay. Now if your question is we want at least one. So in at least one we have to find for p x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is easy method here? Write 1 minus that. Like here we want p x greater than or equal to 1, at least 1. How we can write 1 minus p where x is less than 1? Because here greater than or equal to 1 is given. So here write less than 1. So less than 1 means what? Only we have to find for 0. So that is easy. So that depends on sum where we have to use this method 1 minus. Okay. Now in probability distribution, we know that summation of px is 1. So use that. You can easily solve at least that part. Okay. Again that chapter is very easy. Just give some time for that. These last two chapters of paper 2 you can score 5 marks there. Complete 5 marks. Okay. Now in application of derivative, there is one question, find the approximate value. Now in that question, this is the formula which we know, but remember here don't write equal to, because question is find the approximate value. So this is what? This is approximately equal to. Otherwise in moderation you will lose 1 mark. This, you can use this symbol or you can use this symbol. These are symbols for approximate value. And here if we want square root or cube root, and if our answer is 2.99, then just write, don't write 2.99, find out 4 decimal points, up to 4 decimal points. Okay, so in moderation again you can lose here 1 mark if you write only 2.9 or 2.99. Now in Lagrange mean value theorem, LMVT or Rolle's theorem, if question is verify the conditions, then you have to just verify the only conditions. But again in condition, remember that f is continuous on what? Closed interval. Okay, and f is differentiable in open interval AB. Okay, so remember this, where this is continuous you have to write closed intervals, and for f is differentiable you have to write open interval AB. Okay, and then third condition depends on Rolle and LMVT, so just check the conditions. But if question is verify the theorem, then you have to prove whole theorem. Like if we want to find the C, we have to prove that C lies between A and B. Okay, like for example A is 0 and B is pi and C is pi by 2. So prove that pi by 2 lies between this 0 and pi. Okay, we want that C belongs to AB. So here you have to read first question carefully. Now in differential equation you can say half chapter is very easy. First question is what? Find the order and degree. Okay, so don't confuse between that order and degree. Suppose for example question is given. Now in this question here square root is given. So we know the method to find the order and degree. We want equation free of radicals. That means what? We don't want raised to half. Root means raised to half or raised to 1 by 3, or we don't want negative fraction. So we want simple in polynomial form, linear polynomial form. Okay, so here to remove the square root, write squaring both sides, and then we have to find the order and degree. Simply order means what? When we differentiate y with respect to x, this is what first order derivative. When we differentiate second time, d by dx of this will become d square y dx square, that is what? Second order derivative. Okay, so here what is order? Find out the highest order. This is first order, this is second order, this is third order. So highest is what? 3. So here order is 3. Now what is degree? Find the number which is given for highest order, raised to. So here raised to what? 1 is given. So degree is 1. Okay, so we know degree is the power of highest order. Okay, so this is the question for order and degree. But if like question is d square y dx square whole square is given plus cos dy by dx. Now again we want free of radicals, which is not possible here. We cannot write this in polynomial form. Okay, so here order we can write, because either we are writing here, suppose squaring both side or taking cube or raised to 4, order will not change. If we differentiate the equation, then we can change the order. So here order will remain same. So here this is first and this is second, so you can write order 2. But as we cannot write this equation in polynomial form, right here degree is not defined. Degree is not defined. So see the sums, there are sums in solve part of question textbook and also in exercise. Okay, now in vector, suppose question is prove that points A, B, C, D are coplanar. Now we know method, we have to prove that box product, that is scalar triple product, is equal to 0. But we want 3 vectors for that. So if points are A, B, C, D, take one point as fixed point, say A. Then find out AB bar, that is our first vector. Then find out AC bar and then find out AD bar. Okay, so one point we want fix, say A, AB bar, AC bar and AD bar. Then we know method, find out determinant of these 3 vectors. So again in determinant use vertical lines, don't use matrix, we cannot solve matrix. So if this box product is 0, we can say that given 3 vectors are coplanar. Or if we want volume of parallelepiped, again we find the box product of 3 vectors. Or we want volume of tetrahedron, what is that? 1 upon 6 into box product. Okay, now for theorems, be careful, read all the steps of theorem properly. Now theorem means not only the questions where theorem is written. Like for example, in integration, in exam, you can get the question, find the integration of this or prove this. This is not given as theorem. Okay, but the proof is very easy. You have to consider this as u and v, you have to write 1 and then use u into v theorems. Or there is first corollary, that is integration of f dash of x upon fx. Again this is not theorem, there are 4 parts, so they can ask for 4 marks. So again here proof is very easy. Okay, so there are many questions like this, like in vector, prove that altitudes are concurrent, medians are concurrent, or diameter subtends a right angle at any point on the circle. Okay, so read that questions also. If you want 100 marks, you have to read all the textbook properly. Read the solve sums also. Okay, there are some questions in vectors which are given in solve parts like this. Okay, now in differentiation, there are only some theorems. Okay, so read that theorems properly. Now again, like there is one part, y is equal to sine inverse of x. Then we know that dy by dx is 1 upon under root 1 minus x square. This is again not as a theorem. This is not given as a theorem, but they can ask for theory part. Okay, so read that also. Again, here proof is very easy. Just go through that. Or like in previous question paper, there is one question, prove that sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is equal to pi by 2. So again, this is not theorem, this is given as property in inverse trigonometric function. So if you want to write all theorems, read all theory parts of book carefully. Like in inverse trigonometry, there is sine rule, there is cosine rule, there is Napier's analogy which is given in solve part. So read that. Again, that is not difficult. Okay, so for 100 marks, write the properly all steps. Okay, so if you have the specimen copy of some like Uttam or any other book in which marking scheme is given, read that properly. In maths, you can score 100 marks easily. Okay, so best of luck for the exam.